Oh my god, it was hard to stomach. Hello friends and welcome back to ReddX, your source for the freshest daily Reddit content. Today, we are dipping our toes into something a little bit new, a little bit different, but not too different, mind you. This is r/LegbeardStories. Now, legbeards are basically female neckbeards, but doing away with the nerdy interests, they usually have more of a clingy attachment, kind of similar to nice guys, sort of on the same level as nice girls, but with a nerdier bent to them. You know what I'm saying? I suppose the best way to explain it is just to demonstrate it and watch these legbeards in action, so without any further ado, let's jump into this thing. And we'll warm up with a text post, so you can kind of see what it's all about, maybe get some of the vibe that we're going for here. This is a post by Vanessa Black. Vanessa Black, didn't she make the Friday song? It's Rebecca Black. Anyways, she says, "Cheating is never funny. Please stop laughing about it. Liking a girl's meme more than once is cheating. I don't care. Please stop laughing at this. I've never been so hurt. I've never felt so betrayed in my entire life. If you're in a relationship and you like other people's memes, you are cheating. Once can be justified, but I went on the girl's account. Every meme I came across, he just happened to react. That's not okay. I have memes. I post memes. You don't need to react to another girl's meme. And yes, I am single now." You should have been single the whole time. Were you seriously crying over your boyfriend liking another girl's memes? What? It wasn't just one meme. It was multiple. I don't think that's gonna hold up in court, bro. God damn, that's so pathetic. Oh, maybe you just need to deal with the fact that her memes are better than your memes. We can't all be meme lords. That's just a statistical impossibility. But anyways, with that out of the way, let's jump into this first Legbeard story. Legbeard looks at porn in class. Classy. TLDR at the bottom. This happened a few years ago when I was a college senior. Both myself and Legbeard were studying for our master's degree. Same field of study, different subjects. Legbeard was outgoing and friendly. I never really had a problem with her. She was severely overweight and wore the same outfit every day. I feel a bit guilty commenting on her appearance. I'm not sure if it was due to financial status, but I really don't think keeping up her appearance was a priority for her. Nothing wrong with that, I guess. Legbeard absolutely loved anime. Had pins all over her sweater and backpack. She always talked about Hatalia. God, this Hatalia keeps popping up in these videos. We shared a class together where someone gave a presentation on World War II. After class, she started asking him about Hatalia, explaining how great it was, explaining the characters. She was talking so fast, I think he was too nice to interrupt her. It was in this class where the incident occurred. I like to sit in the front row so I wouldn't have to wear glasses. I wasn't as early as usual on this day, so I had to sit in the very back row, directly behind Legbeard. Legbeard used her laptop to take notes, while I preferred a pen and paper. I'm not used to seeing the backs of my classmates, but in the middle of a lecture, I look up and Legbeard is no longer taking notes. It looked like some sort of online comic strip or manga. I was curious and started peeking over her shoulders, leaning a bit due to her shoulder width. It was in black and white. I realized that I was looking at a yaoi webcomic. Yaoi, if you don't know, is like boy love, basically. And I do mean boys. Generally like gay kids. Not my thing, but some people seem to enjoy it, I guess. It was pretty graphic. It seemed very heavily detailed. I was shocked that someone would be reading that during class. I don't know if she noticed me looking over her shoulder, but she clicked it closed. I never spoke to her again after that. Not sure if that was due to her knowing and being embarrassed, or if we just never had the opportunity. I didn't mention it to the teacher. I almost wonder how the situation would have been different if I had caught a neckbeard doing the same thing. TLDR. I mean, that's not one of the most egregious Legbeard stories that I've ever heard. I mean, you're basically being the creep in this story, OP, looking over somebody's shoulder, trying to get a peek at what they're looking at. Like, I don't know if I could really sign off on that one, you know what I mean? A lot of people have a lot of different kinks. I probably wouldn't suggest dragging it out in public, but, at the end of the day, it's not like graphic pornography. It's just sort of a pornographic comic strip, which I don't know if that makes it any better, but I assume she was just reading for the story, right? Probably, maybe. In the middle of class is definitely not the right place to do it. I can't give Legbeard any points there, but yeah, just keep your eyes on your own paper, whatever you're doing. I don't think there's any need to put her on blast in class with the teacher, or even to put her on blast on Reddit, honestly. The most shocking thing of all probably is that these people are going for their master's degree. God. Humanity has failed. Anyways, one more story. It's gonna be a beefy one though, so prepare yourselves. The Not So Marvelous Adventures of Cosplay Legbeard. Hooray! It's funny how recently I discovered that I actually had a few different encounters with neckbeards and legbeards. I, for the longest time, had thought that I could see right through people, by which I mean that I'm an extremely good judge of character. But being only human, I know I'm bound to make some mistakes with people. One story in particular that stands out comes from my college days, about 5 to 7 years ago. Some of my recounting may be a bit fuzzy, but I still remember most of what happened. But first, let me introduce the cast. OP, new to the college scene, huge geek, loving anime, video games, cosplay, you name it, kinda awkward and shy. Cosplay the Legbeard of our story. Ruby, an old friend from high school who's 2 or 3 years older than me, who's been like an older sister to me. She's mainly prominent in the beginning of the story, but is a huge piece regardless. Saya, another friend from high school who was a year ahead of me and attending college at the beginning. She plays a very small role, but nonetheless is important, as you will see. Dane and Angel, the 2 best friends that I could ever ask for, who have also witnessed and been dragged into the BS of cosplay. So technically, though I said that this took place during my college years, this all technically started back in high school. Though I had close friends in my own grade, I was closest to a few upperclassmen. I'll call them Ruby and Saya for the sake of this story. Ruby I'd known for much longer, and she treated me like I was her little sister since I had no siblings, and Ruby also didn't have any siblings. I was absolutely devastated at the end of my sophomore year when she finally graduated and went off to college. I live in a small town that's basically kept afloat by the local military base, so the vast majority of people around our area are military of some sort, and after graduation they usually move away. But thankfully, Ruby didn't, and we still kept a close relationship, texting each other and staying over at her house and eventually her new apartment. I was invited over for her New Year's Eve party my senior year, and I noticed that Ruby seemed extremely aggravated and angry at the party. Once everyone else had arrived, Ruby kept going on about this cosplay person who I had never heard of. Everyone else at the party also jumped in talking about how nasty this person was and how terrible they were. Ruby and the others then warned me at the party about her, giving me a description of her and telling me to just run in the opposite direction. I would be going to the same college as her in a few months, so they had to give me a heads up. Now, though I love Ruby, I also know that she could hold grudges and sometimes get upset about what I sometimes perceived as minor things. Well, obviously I'm writing this story out for you, so you probably already figured out that I didn't heed her warning. Not long after that, I was hanging out with Saya at our local mall, having a great time and stopping to get some Taco Bell, when I finally meet the infamous cosplay. She stopped to talk for Saya for a good couple of minutes, but in those few minutes I was taken aback. I couldn't tell if it was BO or her mouth, or both, but oh my god, it was hard to stomach. Her teeth were so infested with plaque that it looked like the news of a toothbrush had just never reached her. Now, I'm not a mean person, and I generally don't judge people by their looks, but you can only ignore a gross smell for so long. Later, Saya tells me a bit more about cosplay, saying how she felt kinda bad for her after the falling out that she and Ruby had. As it turns out, Ruby and cosplay were best friends and met when they first started college. They both liked a lot of the same things, especially Homestuck. Yes, cosplay was obsessed with Andrew Hussey's comic, Homestuck. Don't get me wrong, I was a pretty big fan of it, and had made some crappy cosplays, made artwork, and even roleplayed from it, and I still enjoy it to this day. But my god, cosplay was on a whole nother level of cringe, with her obsession with Gamzee to the point where she would do these cringy impersonations and make up for him. Anyways, after their fallout, Cosplay had many people turn away from her that were also mutual friends of Ruby, and she only had a small few people who would still call her their friend, and Saya felt sorry for her, though she herself was grossed out by Cosplay's lack of hygiene. So fast forward, and I've started college, and I was loving it. I love the freedom to go where I want, be able to leave campus for a few minutes with friends if we had time between classes. I could basically do whatever I want with my free time. And with a new school came new friends. An old high school friend had introduced me to Angel, a loud yet funny, sweet, caring, and sometimes a bit hot-headed sweetheart of a girl who is still my best friend to this very day. Angel and I got along great, and I started hanging around with her and her friend group more and more, as did Cosplay. Now, I'm what I like to consider a true yellow Hufflepuff, meaning that I am the epitome of a Hufflepuff, loyal to the end. So I tried not to get acquainted with Cosplay out of respect to Ruby, but with Angel being so close to her and myself trying to make new friends, somehow or another, in some way that escapes me to this day, me and Cosplay ended up becoming friends. Ugh, shudder. I also felt like Sai's words just kind of resonated with me about feeling bad for Cosplay not having any real friends. I could relate. I was a nerdy girl all through my school years and was bullied and felt like such an outcast that I had developed a lot of issues that I'm still getting help for to this day. So I tried to keep my friendship to Cosplay a secret from Ruby. Regardless though, Cosplay also started to show signs of being an elitist cosplayer as the months went on. I'll give her this. Cosplay was very creative and outgoing with her costume designs, and she put lots of effort into her costumes. However, she would make some judgy comments as the months would go by about other cosplayers or things that she found online. Meanwhile, she herself would be coming into college just casually wearing Homestuck cosplays, with Faygo or, on the rare occasion, Faygo-flavored cupcakes. Nasty, by the way. We had already started up a cosplay group, which included myself, Angel, my still dear best friend Dane, a friend of Angel's, let's call her Blade, Cosplay, and one annoying control freak girl. Let's call her Miss E for elitist. Honestly, she could have a story all to her own. Post it, OP. I want to read it. We had somehow convinced the college to allow our group, as well as the cosplay, gaming, business, and art clubs to put on a convention at our college. Honestly, it went really well. There were no horror stories, and we had it for one more year and had nothing but good reviews. However, our group then started to fall apart. The first year went off without a hitch and we had a good time. But the second year is when the shit finally hit the fan. We had a news team come to interview those who were running the con and to do some general reporting. Though not only was I holding a treasurer seat of the club, dressed up in costume and talking with Cosplay, Missy, and Dane, once a reporter came over, Cosplay all but ordered me away and had Miss E and Dane follow. I found out from Dane that she liked their costumes the best and wanted their costumes to be pictured with her for the interview. The con goes on, and Cosplay had recruited Miss E and Dane to judge in the cosplay competition, as the other two judges were, for some reason, nowhere to be found. How quaint. Regardless, Angel and I decided to go up into the control panel room upstairs and watch the competition from there and keep our other friend, who we'll call Panda, some company. Cosplay costume show's going good. Not a huge turnout, but it's a small con, so for its size, it was a decent gathering. The announcer then came up at the end and introduced Cosplay up to the stage, and introduced her as the leader of our group. What? Three of us in the top exchanged looks at one another like, what the hell was that? And to Cosplay's credit, she sheepishly announced that no, they were not the leader, but even with that, the announcer kept insisting that she was. With the convention coming to a close, it was me, Angel, Dane, Panda, and Blade all getting relaxed and getting out of cosplay in a room upstairs that was blocked off for con staff. We were all excited, but albeit completely drained and exhausted. Cosplay was boosting up her ego about putting on a con and side-noting others' help. She then turns to all of us and says,
"So guys, how does it feel to be professional cosplayers now?"
I just kind of looked at her and raised an eyebrow. What do you mean? No way in hell I'm professional, and I wasn't. She then went on to explain that because we put on a convention, we're now pros. This might sound silly, but after hearing that, I developed a nervousness of cosplay. My friends are amazing cosplayers, especially Dane and Angel. Dane would make all of her items and props herself and has this large following on her Instagram, while Angel bought these beautiful cosplays and props and always looked gorgeous. I struggled with money during college, like many other young adults, and found it hard to afford buying and making costumes with my budget. Cosplay and Lady E, from that point on, were starting to go with more elaborate costumes and throwing out different and more elaborate cosplay group ideas for us all to cosplay, some of which were Broadway cosplays. No way in hell I could afford to make or buy cosplays from Hamilton. I started getting into the bad habit of blowing way too much money to buy parts for a cosplay, and had my grandmother teach me how to use a sewing machine, and I felt like I was doing better, but due to some past issues I started to fall into a depression about how I wasn't good enough with what I had made, and I had a lot of self-hate for my body. I honestly wanted to quit cosplay altogether, but I was afraid of losing my friends. Thankfully, this changed during the final fall of our cosplay group. You see, our cosplay group was mainly just for cosplay, but we also had a lot of mutual friends that we hung out with in college. But the cosplay group was specifically for when we traveled to cons, hosted panels, and tried to brand our name in the cosplay community. It's a smaller community compared to most areas. Panda, as I had mentioned before, was one such friend who was always with us and helping out while in cosplay and out, and was just a huge help. We would have been literally screwed without her. She finally started to dip her foot into cosplay and wanted to host things with us, which we encouraged. Angel, Dane, Blade, and I had all talked about it one night with her, and mentioned how we should just make it official since she was basically already unofficial. Being as though there is not a leader of our group and we're supposed to be a democracy, we see no issue with it. But Cosplague and Miss E had something to say about it. We messaged them later on that night saying something along the lines of, "Hey, voting that Panda should be made official as a member of our group is on Twitter." To which everyone agreed, except Cosplague and Miss E. Some info on Panda. She was dubbed the baby by all our friends, and we felt the need to protect her since she was smaller and a bit younger than us and just, in general, a sweetheart who was always willing to help out. She had been an especially good friend to Cosplague through all of her elitist attitudes and overall bad hygiene, and would generally give her the benefit of the doubt. Cosplague came back saying that,
Well, they're an honorary member, but I think I need to think on it more before we actually add a new member.
To which Miss E replied in the same fashion. This pissed the rest of us off and hurt Panda's feelings, and I started to point out facts to them about how stupid that sounded and that it was 4 against 2. They requested to have time to think about it, so we all just dropped it for about a week of no talking as we needed time to simmer down. Then, the following week, I found myself at Walmart with my mother, helping her get groceries for a summer party we were throwing. My phone's going off in my pocket, and it was Angel. You need to check your texts. So I did, and sure enough, it was Cosplague to our group chat saying,
Welcome to our newest member,
with a screen cap of our Twitter account welcoming another friend, instead of Panda. I was fuming at this, and immediately fired back at her saying, Awesome, great, where's Pandas? To which we all got a response of,
Well, we still need time to think about Panda.
Side note, I'd been completely fine with this other friend joining us as I would any friend, but I was so pissed off that Cosplay didn't even acknowledge her own friend. So I immediately posted, I'm afraid I can no longer be a part of this group if we can't even acknowledge friends. This is a group for costumes, not a clique. I don't want to be a part of this anymore. And with that, everyone else started to drop out as well. There were a few more encounters with Cosplague after this incident, as we had mutual friends. She'd made some new friends who only furthered her huge ego to the point that when she and her then-boyfriend, now-husband, decided to get married, to do so at a large convention in a crowded area, just to make a scene. She didn't have much to do with us after that, and decided to start spreading rumors about how Angel and Panda were terrible people, and came to Dane, Dane's partner, and myself with a sob story about how
Angel and Panda said they'd be at our wedding, but they didn't show up, and instead they went to another event.
Yeah, not true. Then finally it all came to an end when Cosplague faked being trans. Before you start telling me I'm a terrible person for saying that, let me explain. During all of this time, if it was not evident enough, Cosplay only ever craves attention and has multiple times made remarks on how happy she is to be female. No joke. She would always try and act seductive in gross ways in and out of cosplay and compliment her womanly features. The best way to describe what happened was the whole Trisha Paytas situation. We've also had mutual friends who are trans who also agree that it was for nothing but attention. Cosplay eventually made a whole new Facebook and tried adding me as a friend after about 2 years of silence and no communication. After rumors spreading at this point about myself, I finally ripped into her, telling her not to contact me, and condemning her actions in the past from hurting others with her elitist attitude. Since then, I've only heard rumors about her from then on, but nothing worth noting. Well, I guess the title had it right. Not so marvelous indeed. I don't think really anything happened in that story, just girls being cliquish, you know? Kinda sad and weird that it happened over cosplay. But you know what, it's really not my scene, so I can't knowledgeably comment on it in any way. I'm sure it happens a lot more than just in this story, you know what I mean? From what I've seen, cosplayers tend to play favorites between each other a whole heck of a lot, even if they aren't in some community college club. Did it warrant a Reddit post? Sure, if it makes you feel better, but I was kind of disappointed by the story, honestly. So to make up for that, we are going to get into one more. I'll just shove it in here. And that will make for one beefy Legbeard video, and we'll see how it does. We'll see if we even want to come back to this subreddit. I'm looking for the action. I'm looking for the true creeps. And I might have just found it. It's right in the title. Look at that. X's creepy sister. Fingers crossed. Alright, so this is my first Reddit story, and this one's a bit long, so sorry. This happened back in 2018, when I had just finished my junior year of high school and was heading to be a senior. Context. I had just ended a friends with benefits relationship with my best friend, M, who had just graduated high school. I was heartbroken because I really liked her, and also because she started dating one of our closest friends. She was also the first girl that I had ever been more than friends with, so the pain was real. As a result, I was this sad, stupid 17-year-old mess who was absolutely not over my heartbreak. I know it's really stupid in retrospect. That's when I met G, my mom's friend's niece from India. She'd come to visit them in the USA for a year before starting her uni there, and we really hit it off. She was really pretty, so I was intimidated, but I lived in India once upon a time, and we both loved Hindi movies, so I could talk to her without messing up. Then we started dating. She then returned to India, but we kept dating since I was going back to India myself in a few months, and she'd come back to the USA for college. And here's the story. One day I got a WhatsApp message from this girl that I knew back in first grade from India, L. I asked her how she got my number. She said that she's my girlfriend's sister. We had a pretty normal conversation to begin with, the usual. How have you been? It's been so long. Oh, what a coincidence, etc. She seemed pretty chill, so we followed each other on Insta and Snapchat. The conversations were initially pretty normal, but every so often she'd bore me with talk about anime or other shows that I had absolutely no idea about or even had any interest in. I didn't care though, because my best friend is also an anime geek, so I'm kinda used to it. Red flags started when she'd casually call me cute every chance that she'd get, and just tell me what assholes all of her guy friends are, and that she's never met a guy as chill as me. But honestly, I didn't think much of them at the time. A little weird now, looking back. The messages took a creepier turn when she started asking me about my dating life. I told her an abridged version of my story with M. She told me that she really hasn't liked anyone yet, but all the guys she likes end up rejecting her. She then tells me that there's this one guy she likes, but he has a girlfriend. She said that she's been liking him for years and that I know him. Like an idiot, I honestly couldn't tell that she was talking about me.
You stupid.
And I kept asking her questions. The conversation goes a little bit like this. Okay, who is this dude?
I don't want to tell you.
I mean, your choice, but I kinda wanna know now, lol.
Well, he's in a different country right now.
Where? Does he know you like him?
No, but we talk sometimes. He's also in America, actually. Doesn't matter. He has a girlfriend now anyways.
Yeah, sorry to hear though. Hang in there.
You idiot, I'm talking about you.
Gasp. I didn't know how to respond. We hadn't talked from 2007 to 2018. I told her that I'm sorry she feels that way, but I never really saw her like that. To which she replies,
Bullshit. I remember we were low-key boyfriend and girlfriend back in school, and we even kissed once.
I told her that that was definitely not the case since we were first graders, and my first kiss wasn't until I was in high school. We stopped talking for a bit, but then a few weeks later, she hits me up again.
Hey, sorry I acted a little weird. It's just that I remember you, and I had a massive crush on you in first grade, so I overreacted a little when I heard you're dating my sister. Can we start over? I swear I won't send you any weird shit.
Yeah, it's alright. Don't worry. Just don't do any weird shit like that.
I won't, promise.
Lies. I decided to give her another chance since I've had my fair share of fuck-ups with girls myself. Nothing close to this, though. But then she immediately goes back to being weird again. I sing at events and I post a lot of videos of singing performances on my Insta. She saw some of them and asked me to send a recording of my voice, and she liked it so much. I sent her a small recording to get her off my back. A few days later, she randomly tells me that she falls asleep to it every night and that I should send her more. She also said that my voice had an
erotic edge to it.
God. The worst came when she asked me to send her a photo of myself from first grade. I said I didn't have any, but she kept pressuring me to find one. I didn't send anything, but I was obviously even more creeped out than last time. A few days later, she sent me a seriously messed up hentai clip and then said,
"This is so sexy. I want my first time to be like this."
I replied with, "Ew, that's disgusting." I was shocked. I never told my parents any girl troubles, and I was too scared to tell G since I didn't know how she would react, and our relationship wasn't old enough to weather that. So I just didn't tell anyone and started avoiding her again. However, this time, she would not stop messaging me.
Hey, what happened?
You creep me out again. You can't just ask for a guy's photo when he was 6 years old.
Sorry, I'm trying. I just wanted to see how you looked back then.
Alright, I'm done. Please stop.
I'm done pretending everything's okay. I love you, and I want you to be my first.
For God's sake, I'm dating your sister. What the fuck?
I never forced you to be with me, but my love is true love. I know you're G's boyfriend right now, but I'm smarter, and once we meet, you'll regret your choice.
Wow, amazing. I seriously doubt that.
All you guys are the same, shallow and pathetic. Have your fun now, but when I'm super successful later and have a boyfriend way hotter than you, both you and G are going to be so sad that you broke my heart.
I don't reply to that.
G is way out of your league anyways. You're an ugly piece of shit. I'm beginning to figure out why M left you in the first place. You're probably terrible in bed too. All you guys are pathetic and shallow.
This is a very mild version of what she actually said. Again, I didn't dignify that with a response, but she kept messaging me more typical nice girl stuff.
I'm so sorry about that. Shit, why can't I ever do anything right? Please talk to me again. I didn't mean anything I said. Just for the record, G's previous boyfriend had sex with her many times. She isn't even a virgin. I am, and I wanted my first time to be with you. Too bad you chose the secondhand shit over me. Have fun.
Needless to say, I blocked L on everything. Especially since she really hurt my feelings by mentioning M. That's what she was trying to do, OP. A few months later, I went to India and spent a significant amount of time at G's house. This meant that I'd also be seeing L on a regular basis, and she, of course, got creepier. This was the first time that I had met L in person in years, and she fit most of the qualities of a legbeard. The size, the smell, the bad skin, messy room, the obsession with anime, everything, except the poor grooming. She would often bring me up during conversations all the time, and because the two sisters were so close, G had no clue about L's creepy obsession with me. One time, L walked in on G and me in the middle of you-know-what. We forgot to lock the door, how smart, and pretended that it was an accident. G, clueless to the situation, just yelled at her for a bit and kind of forgot about it. L didn't stop, however. Whenever G and I would be alone in a room, L would always knock and ask about really small, trivial things. This was when G started getting mad too. Another incident was when G and her family came to my granddad's birthday party at my house. The three of us and my cousin went to separate rooms from our families. G was sitting on my lap, and we told my cousin the story of how we got together. The whole time L was staring at us extremely awkwardly, and even G could sense that something was wrong. L started making jokes about how we're
complete misfits
and other more inappropriate jokes. We were all extremely uncomfortable. It was in India that L drew the last straw. One day, I got a WhatsApp message from G saying, "Nobody's home, come over." When I went, L opened the door, and I was a little confused. I asked where G is, and she told me to come inside and that she'd call her. I went to the bathroom, and when I was done, I opened the door, and there was L. She pushed me into the bathroom and closed the door. She grabbed me by the hands and pinned me to the wall. Although I'm 6 feet, L is kinda big, and it was a little hard to just push her off, and I couldn't really kick her or anything either. Shocked, I asked her, "What the fuck are you doing?" To which she replies,
"Shh, just give me one more chance, please."
Elle tried to kiss me, but I turned my head and she started kissing my neck. When she let go of my hands and made her way down my back to my butt, I finally pushed her off me and ran the fuck out of the house. On the cab ride home, I got a call from G, who was told by Elle that I had tried to rape her. I told her what happened and she didn't believe me, so I sent her screenshots of all the creepy shit that Elle had texted me. She was shocked, and I never talked to Elle again. Turns out when G was having a nap, Elle texted me from her phone and deleted the text right after. G woke up when she heard noises in the bathroom next to their bedroom, but she got up a little later to see Elle crying in the bathroom. When G asked what happened, Elle told her that bunch of bullshit. I don't hold anything against G for believing her sister, but I'm a little sad that their dynamic still isn't the same. G and I broke up a while back too, but we still see each other due to our connections. I've never talked to Elle again. Sorry if the English in the messages seems a little off. I tried my best translating them from my native language. I don't know if this qualifies as nice girl or legbeard, but it is the story of my first legbeard/nice girl experience. TLDR. Cheers, thanks for getting this far. Please comment, let me know your thoughts. Also, YouTubers, feel free to use this. Everyone's anonymous. Hey, thanks, bruh. I got you, son. Now that's a good Legbeard story. Mwah, chef's kiss. Fucking beautiful. Good old psychological manipulation that nice girls/nice guys are so very famous for. I am sad that OP almost got molested in a bathroom. I mean, he basically did get molested in a bathroom, but luckily it didn't go any farther than that. But yeah, man, that is a wild ride from start to finish, I will say that. Oh, the family dynamic in that house will never be the same because you were there, OP. You've left your mark on this world. For better or for worse, I suppose. That is the type of story that encapsulates the Legbeard experience. You could just ignore the cosplay one completely. But with all that said, man, that's a beefy video. Mostly because I was disappointed in the cosplay one, so I wanted to record one more to redeem myself. So I did, and it feels good. In exchange for my gracious offering, I truly hope that you will like, comment, and or subscribe on the video if you have not already. Also, check out the links in the description. PayPal, Facebook, Twitter, Discord, and of course Patreon. My lovely, lovely patrons supporting me every single month. Thank you so much to Damon Darkstar, Lady Nix, Crimson Albedo, Dot Nathan, Robert Waits, Just Austin, and Barlos Bugo. Man, I can rattle that off real quick now. I see their names in my head when I go to sleep at night. Bless them, each and every one. But I also want to thank you guys for being here. If you can support monetarily, that's great. If not, then I'm just happy you're here, honestly. The channel's been growing massively. I could not thank you guys enough for all of that. So please take care of yourself so you can join us again tomorrow. That means wearing your mask. That means washing your hands. That also means taking some time out today to do something that you enjoy. Do something for yourself. Because you are loved, you are worthy, and you definitely, definitely deserve it. I will see you in the next one, friends. And until then, bye-bye.